Is my audio working?
It's working
Like my
perfectly.
audio's not? Then I'm not super worried about it because if I just look funny here, I'm not incredibly concerned. I just want to make sure that the audio is good for Reed.
Yeah,
So
I think we're good.
perfect. Yeah. Then let's get going. So I love trying to be Reed because Reed has like the best game show voice, and I don't. But we're gonna give it a go. Sound good? Okay. Everybody that's popped in, thank you. There's a chat drop down just like YouTube. Um, if you feel so inclined. Otherwise, yeah, let's give this a shot, huh, Christian?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I don't have the music. He'll throw it in. Okay. Hello and welcome to episode 24 of the MLSFI podcast, our round 20 review and preview of round 21 before that long international break we have coming up. This episode is brought to you by Discord, because we're here now. No, just kidding, just kidding. Actually brought to you by our amazing MLSFI Patreon supporters. Because of all of your support, we're able to keep this project going. You can learn more at patreon.com/MLSFI. I am your fill-in host tonight, Ashley Savage. As our usual chairman, Reed Connolly from MLS Fantasy Boss is off on vacay tonight with his lovely family. Tonight, you'll notice we're running things a bit differently, and I'm joined by our very special tech guru, Discord champion guest, Christian Ward. How are you doing tonight, Christian?
Guru, really?
I mean, in
Better
my
now that
eyes,
you call me a guru. I mean, I suppose that's not. Yeah, I'm great. Thanks, Ashley. How
uh,
are you?
I am lovely. I got to spend the day today at the, bear with me, sport change, at the All-Star stuff down here in Seattle with my family. So pretty great day here for me. Better day than I had a fantasy round last round. I know you're in the same boat as me a little bit, so we'll just go ahead and jump on into into our takeaways from round 20. I'll go ahead and start with Reed because he had a crushing 127, blah, 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 whatever. He's not here, so I'm not going to spend time bragging for him. But he did, I will say, he did beat me in our second MLSFI host derby of the year. So this was our first time playing each other. He beat Blaine earlier in the year, so he's on a clean sweep right now. So kudos to Reed. I hope he has a extra drink down there wherever he is in Florida. And toasts over his victory over me. I from my end posted a 111. I had a really tough time with the scramble when Bogusz wasn't starting. I was doing things for the fourth. I just kind of like mismanaged that situation and just made some poor adjustments. I lost all my head-to-heads. I dropped an overall ranking. One of those rounds I'd like to forget. I'm ready for the break. I'm ready for the break. And oh, Meg, I'm sorry you left Bogushin. I am looking forward to this upcoming, kind of smaller double game week round. Maybe make some better choices, but yeah, just not the best performance for me. The Zella captain, for a lot of people didn't go great. I think we saw a bunch of players outperform him. I did kind of channeling you. One thing I decided to do to try to make some adjustments with Bogusz was I picked up Reynoso on a single, and he got 9 points without a goal contribution. So he did better than most of my double game week field players. So that was something I was happy with. Basically everything else I was not. So yeah. And I do, before we get into your scores too, I just want to touch base about the Colorado and the Portland players and how that worked. I saw a lot of people talking about how kind of inconsistent the system has been when it comes to these canceled games, and I agree. I think, it's something that they talk about every time, and I know that, it's going to be a frustrating situation until they figure out something more consistent. But for now, all that whole game, those players unlocked, and you were able to transfer them out the next day. I know a lot of us used Portland players as a scrub since they were on a single game week. sometimes we can and sometimes we can't. The fact that it went 45 minutes, I was kind of surprised that we were able to do it. Um, but the verbiage that I've seen from Skylar is that they're trying to make it more consistent. Um, and that game will be similar to the Dallas St. Louis game where when they do replay that match, it will not count in our system. So whenever they do pick that 45 minutes back up later, we're not going to get any players out of that game. Another quick addition that I just want to add from Skylar is that we will be seeing some new players come into the game as early as tonight, overnight tonight. So tomorrow, actually, I should say. So I'm talking about Arango. I'm talking about a couple other players. He said that a lot of the big transfers in who are already playing or who have went to other teams will be updated as early as tonight. So that's something to take a look for. Just kind of wrapping up some of the hits and misses from this past round. A real big hit for me, and we did talk about this last week, Christian, about Puig versus Brugman. Which way were we leaning, if not both? He had a great game. I mean, the Galaxy in general, and I don't know that I've said that all season. The Galaxy in general had a great fantasy performance. Tyler Boyd did well. Puig did well. Highest pointed player of the round. Just a massive performance. I don't think I've said the name Tyler Boyd on here until now, so that was very impressive to see across both games. Another hit that I had was R. Santos for Orlando. I saw him on a lot of people's teams, on a lot of people's benches. Just a massive 12 points in the first game, 14 total. And then, not on a double, but all of RSL. All of RSL had a great round last round. Glad hitting big, P. Ruiz went in big, and then, my heart, my favorite, Chicho Arango already scoring, getting in there. So all of those were great to see, unless you didn't have them, and then they weren't. Some big misses, Torres for Orlando in the midfield, considerably less than Arujo, was just 7 points across those two games, a little disappointing. And I mean, fucking Zella, 7 points in 2 games. That's not very Zella-light. That was definitely a big miss. And then, Bogusz getting rotated, I think, kind of threw a wrench in a lot of people's systems. But, something we've come to say we expect with LAFC with all of their double games, right? I mean, we have talked about that. I didn't think it was going to hit him, but, it did. So no one is safe when it comes to that rotation. So yeah. What about you? How was your score for last round, and what were some things that you took away from it?
Oh, well, I didn't take much away from it. In terms of points, I got 107, which isn't great, isn't bad. I mean, it's bad, but it's not terrible. I managed to stay in top 20 overall rank, which thank God, because if I had dropped out of that, I would have probably rage quit.
Just quit. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't have, but I would have just complained about it incessantly, and you would make me you guys would all block me on all the social
Sure.
media.
Yeah.
So my hits, not many. Rafael Santos was my highest scoring player,
Mhm.
and he blanked in
There you
game
go.
2. But that's it. I mean, seriously, that's it. I talked about capping
Wonga.
Zelarayan and I did. That's my first miss. I took Brugman over Puig because Puig, everybody keeps saying his underlying numbers, and then he keeps failing and failing and failing and being lazy and taking himself out of plays. I wasn't going to pick him because he hasn't
Yeah.
returned.
Sure.
So yeah, guys picked him and he returned, and I did not get those points.
Mhm.
I
Like I
also,
said to you, one of the reasons I liked him was mostly the rivalry game, right? Like I felt like he'd had just a good return the
well, I
last
mean,
round, which is not a good data point. but that rivalry game was basically the only reason I did choose him, and
Yeah.
he continued, which was surprising, I will say. I understood your logic for sure.
Well, and that logic played out by me taking and starting Carlos Vela because it's El
Sure, yeah.
Trafico. And,
Mhm,
I hyped that up last time El Trafico happened, and guess what happened? He hauled. So
mhm, mhm.
he didn't this time. I made the mistake of trusting Facundo Torres and anyone really from
Yeah,
Orlando. But yeah, I'm not gonna. You know what? I'm gonna cut the depression part of the show short, and let's move
sure.
on.
Sure, okay. That sounds great. We'll take a quick pause, and then we'll get into some of our housekeeping and the preview of round 21. It's not a real pause, I just do that so that Reed can edit the audio. We're staying right here. Okay. So, I'm gonna go through Tyler s do are you Tyler sent us the get out of here. Kick
What
him
is
out.
what is Reed doing?
What? What?
What a surprise!
Hi.
Pausing. I have to edit. That's right. Thank you so much. Thank
You
you
are
so much.
I put it in big bold letters with a background so I wouldn't forget. Don't you worry.
Good idea so that we don't forget to record. But I know that Craig's doing that tonight. So
Yep.
Is it possible for you to like use a selfie stick or something? Because your face is like,
Yay.
there
I
you
like it. I
go.
like that he's in a
just
parking
my
lot.
arm. It's just yeah. We
Just,
just got to have a restaurant. We just had some ice cream. I'm here on the
Yay.
trip, but I had to say hello and thank everyone for coming out tonight for this experiment. It's great to have this team that can take care of it while on. I don't know if I'm on an
Yeah.
international break or call up or what, but thank you so
I
much,
think
everybody.
you're on the international break.
Yep.
You had your second MLSFI Derby victory, and now you're just taking a rest.
127. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I don't know. All right. Well, I just wanted to hop in real quick and say hello
You
and thank
got it.
you.
All right.
called up
You
for
take rest.
vacation.
Called up for vacay. Okay, so we're
Yeah.
gonna get into some housekeeping. Tyler, thank you for. I'm gonna definitely leave that to you. So round 21. This is our last round. I'm gonna call it a mini double game week. It is a double game week, but it's not a full on double game week. This is our last round before the big break. A little over a month. We will still be doing a couple of episodes. We'll do a recap episode next week. And then we've got some kind of incoming transfer projection stuff that we will put out during the break, but we're going to take a little bit of a break too. It's summer, but this round, again, our last round before the break, starts Wednesday, July 12th at 7:30 Eastern time. And then there will be some more games on the 15th, Saturday, starting again around 7:30 Eastern. uh, like I said, a little bit of a mini double. Not everybody, I would say about half our teams, right? So the double home teams are New England and Vancouver. And then we have a bunch of teams on a home and away split. Atlanta, Red Bull, Cincy, Chicago, Montreal, Houston, Minnesota, Sporting, RSL, Nashville, Philly, LAFC, St. Louis, Seattle, and Austin, all splitting home and away for this double round. And then San Jose, Columbus, Portland, Orlando, Clit, DC, NYCFC, Toronto, Colorado, FC Dallas, Miami, and LAG. What's an acronym?
It's
Are all
oh,
on single game week. Yeah. If you say the acronym, it's not, I didn't choose it. They did this to themselves.
um,
Um, and then by team, there is none. Um, for me, depending on what your preference is, if you are looking at switcher your options, I suggest Galaxy, PDX, Columbus, or FCD, as they have the latest of the two or of the Saturday games for singles. You are right. I apologize. Gosh, the Chicago people are really coming at me this week. Chicago is on a double home as well. I apologize. Listen, it's down to just me this week and Christian doing everything technical. So we're lucky we just got here. All right. But
very,
yes,
very
also
lucky.
very lucky. Also, Gold Cup is winding down. It's just something to pay attention to. Tyler's gonna kind of update us on kind of who's where with yellow cards and red cards and injuries, but just pay attention to those rosters as they come out over over the weekend. I don't obviously no one's going to just show up from the U.S. team for the Wednesday games, but some of those Canadian players might be returning by then. It's just something to pay attention to. Some of the players from some of the other countries, Alex Roldan came back for the Sounders, stuff like that. So just pay attention to that. Check the Mega Reference, check Discord, check lineups, and just know that there might be some people coming back and easing in. So, yeah, Tyler, what do you have for us as far as injuries, suspension?
Christian,
And
what do
Sorry,
you have for
Christian's
us
raising
in
his
terms of
hand.
international duty? Christian.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I wanted to add that we are not going to do a player poll this week because of two reasons.
Oh, yep. Thank you.
Reed got called up for vacation. Thank you, Kingdom. And also, I have no idea who's going to be back from Gold Cup. So
Well,
These things are harder to
luckily you
track,
have
Great
right?
me
idea,
here.
but we don't
Yeah.
know.
Luckily
really.
you have me here.
Oh
Yeah.
God! And here it begins. Okay, go ahead, Tyler.
All right. I didn't really see who returned, so I'm gonna leave that blank for now.
Oh,
Oh, there's a lot
That's
of people that like are new that came in. You have like Timu Puki, you have
Mhm.
Chicho Arango. I think those are the two big names. Uh, there were a couple others that started that are new too. I think the Charlotte
Mhm.
guy, few other signings that had their first games.
Did Fall play? Fall played, didn't he?
Yeah, Mamadou Fall played.
Mhm. Yep. And
But
again, some of those people that aren't in the system yet, Skylar has assured us will be in the system before Wednesday.
yes, he
He
said
actually
they should
said
be in
tonight.
tomorrow. Yeah, tonight into
Mhm.
tomorrow.
Yeah,
Mhm.
In terms of
overnight.
suspensions, this was a very busy week of
Yeah,
suspensions.
sure was.
So hold your breath, keep your ears open. These are on the mega reference if you forget or don't hear all the names. I'm going to start off with, I'm just going to go in order and say that they're all suspended. Danny Pereira's out. Cucho Hernandez is out. Ian Murphy, Donovan Pines, David Ruiz for Miami, Rudy Camacho for Montreal, Latif Blessing for New England, Brian Kufre for NYC, Andreas Reyes for the Red Bulls, Daniel for San Jose, Bernadeschi for Toronto, and Laborda is out for both games on red and yellow card. In addition, Wilfred Nancy's out, and the secondary, I think it was the assistant, also got a red card for Columbus. So both their head
love
and
it.
their assistant are out. In terms of big names to watch for with yellow cards, you have Hector Herrera is on yellow card watch. That's a huge name to keep an eye on.
Mhm.
Jose Martinez is on watch, which could spice things up in Philly if he gets suspended midweek. Eric Tommy is on watch, and Diego Luna. Some updates on injuries. I'll start with the updates. Kellen Rowe and Ariaga are both out for about 6 to 10 weeks on injuries. And a new one that was just added is Steph Fry. I'm sure a few of you noticed that he's going to be out, or that he missed this last week. He was in concussion protocol. They think he's at least going to miss Wednesday. He might be back for the weekend, but don't put your hopes in it. So I would be careful with Cleveland if you're planning on going Cleveland.
Yeah, that's what I was just gonna say. I would not pick Steph Cleveland or Steph Fry.
According to whoever their new coach is, Insigne was a precautionary sub a couple weeks ago, but he just missed both games in the DGW, so it makes me think it wasn't a precaution. He's actually injured. Derek Jones for Charlotte picked up an injury. Steph Nelly for Miami, and then Jonathan Bond for the Galaxy subbed at halftime.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what happened with that.
Yeah.
I wasn't watching the game, but that was a weird one to see a goalie halftime sub.
I wasn't watching the
Yeah.
game either. I was too depressed by halftime.
It was a thigh injury. So
okay.
it's got to be hammy or quad, right? I would
Yeah,
assume, but yeah.
probably. And then Klinsman started on the weekend, so probably out
Mhm.
for a bit. In terms of Gold Cup, you have the US, Jamaica, and Panama that still have MLS players in them, and they all play on Wednesday. That means, yes,
Mhm.
Joe Bendick will still be in net on Wednesday.
Yeah.
All Canada players should be back by the
Mhm.
Wednesday games. Maybe not all are starting, but all should be back.
Yep.
And any other Gold Cup players that got knocked out. I think Costa Rica was the only other one. Oh, Guatemala. Rubin is going to be back. So that's all I have.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Tyler. You, as always, crush it and know all the things, and we appreciate you so much.
Hey,
We'll take a
I'd like to propose
yeah.
an idea. How about if we like let him stay?
Wh-
Yeah.
What?
Well, is he ready for that?
I guess. Like,
Yeah.
no.
Okay.
He's
Yeah.
got his
I mean,
picks, I think,
sure.
don't you?
At the very least, I'd love to
Yeah,
hear
I
your
have my
thoughts on some of these.
picks. Yeah,
Okay,
I
I'll do
definitely
an
have my picks.
extra long pause. We're gonna take
I
a
just
quick
want to see
break,
his face
and
with a couple of mine. That's kind of
we're gonna take a quick break, and then when we come back, we will talk about our player targets for this. Like I said, ultimate round before the break, round 21. We'll be right back. Clean makes the team. Okay. Do you want to stay?
I'll stay, but I don't have a team right now.
That's
I'll make it
okay.
on
Oh
the spot.
no, really?
I'll let
I
you go
thought you
last.
did.
You can be
No.
lead, and I'll call D last every time. At the very least, just banter with us about some of these because this is a pretty chalky week. So, I think it's good to have your differential thoughts
Hear me
here.
out.
So,
Leo chill.
okay. I mean, I'm not against it. Okay. I'll do Risotto intro. So, okay. Welcome back to the MLSFI Fantasy Podcast, where I'm joined by Christian, Tyler, and we are going to tell you who you have to have on your team this week, the last week before we all take a break. We're going to get started with keepers and defenders. I will hesitantly lead this charge as I continue to go back and forth, even though I only have 2 days to make up my mind. Right now, for me, my solid bench keeperoo is going to be Petrovic. I'm definitely going to start there, and then who I fade to if I need to. I keep going back and forth about. I'm considering Takioka for Vancouver. I'm also considering McCarthy, but that LAFC back line has just been questionable for me. I'm just not sure if I want to go with it. And then everything else I don't like. Like Tyler said, I'm not going to Seattle because I'm not sure who's going to be there. And then there's not a whole lot of other options if you want to see that 4:30 for me, sorry, games pan out. So Petrovic and then kind of a TBD, but leaning towards Vancouver. When it came to defenders, one of the first players I slotted in was Barreal. It was really exciting to not have him on yellow card watch for this double game week for the first time. That's kind of been the roulette we've all been playing the last 2 times. He was on double was will we or won't we start him? And will he or won't he get a yellow card? So that's been was nice to do. After that, I threw in Brooks Lennon. I'm considering an RSL defender. I can't really decide if I think that that's just because of the week they just posted or if I really mean it. Pretty good matchups, I would say, at Sporting and then home to Red Bull, but I think I might be a little bit blinded by the points they just put up, and I'm not trying to, trying to hop on a wagon. But and then Brandon By, I am considering doubling up there with the 2 home Atlanta, DC. I think it's a decent shout. New England hasn't been the most consistent shutout wise. But without D Jones, I do kind of like By. I think there's also some cheaper New England options there. Still, if cheap is something that still matters to you, Tyler and I wouldn't know about that. And then I am going back and forth between Shihos and Cascante. I think you'll hear a lot of she-hosts from other people. Again, I feel like I'm really gonna get hammered by whomever is Chicago, but I just don't often trust Chicago defense, even though if I would, that'd be who it would be. But it's taken a lot for me to pick them this year. So I'm kind of fluxing back and forth just because of the bonus point production Cascante has had the last couple doubles. And I know he points better at home, and he only has one home game, but still, it's just something I'm considering. So, what about you, Christian?
Oh, hey. I'm starting off with Brady on the bench.
Yeah.
Because why the heck not? And then if we find out that Cleveland is going to play both, he'll be my fallback.
How are you going to find that out? How are you
I
going to find it
don't
out?
know. Osmosis.
You won't find it out. You won't find it out until Saturday.
You know,
Please don't bet on that.
I have
What if
my
I told
ways.
you? What if I told you Steph Fry is in training right now, but it's
I
on
already
the side?
saw the picture in the
Yeah.
tweet. All right, that doesn't mean anything. Anyway, this is why I wanted Tyler to stay, by the way. I wanted to see his head explode about Cleveland. Anyway, yeah, the only other fallback that's probably worth anything is Takaoka, and that is only because he's got 2 home games. So he's a decent shout, I think. My defenders,
Yep.
Shihos on the bench. I have Barial, Glad, Lennon, and Yamar as the fallback. Pretty
Sure.
self-explanatory,
hmm
except for all that Seattle. I don't like Seattle this week.
So I was just going to say it's a lot of Seattle for you.
Are you okay?
Yeah.
No, I'm not. I'm really not. I'm not okay.
I will say, I know. I mean, they didn't have one this past weekend. I do worry about a Seattle shutout with that Steph Fry. I mean, they do have a home game against Dallas. I could see it there, but I would be impressed if they go to San Jose and get one. So that's something that would cause me concern because I think you'd want to scrub or something. Do you know what I mean? Like if they don't,
Well,
if BMR doesn't hit that Wednesday.
Check it out. Shihos is going to get a clean sheet in the first game, so Yamar's
So then
going
you're
to be
fine.
on anyway.
Perfect.
And
Then you're
if
good.
Shihos gets that clean sheet, so will Brady. So no Cleveland.
Then get that Seattle out of here. Tyler and I would both feel much more comfortable if that was the case. Tyler, who do you like?
We're talking defense. I have a keeper of Petrovic into, hear me out, Berkey.
Okay. I'll listen to it.
I looked at Berkey.
Yeah. I don't like Seattle's chances with goalie because of the rotation risk. Takaoka looks what defense? And so that just left me with Berkey. So even though he's on the road against LAFC first, they've been somewhat struggling. I wouldn't say it's like a big struggle, but there are games when they have some troubles to score.
But aren't you the one that constantly gives me the stat about how Miami have never not scored at least one goal? And that's who they play
and then
the
I
second
actually
game?
looked at their stats.
Okay.
But Joseph has been scoring. I'll give them that.
Yes.
So yes, but Berkey also at least gets bonus points.
He does.
He's one of the few keepers that you can
DP.
that you can consistently rely on to get bonus points.
So question, with the kind of dicey fallback situation for whomever you're starting, Brady or Petro, or benching, but you know what I mean. Yeah. Would either of you consider a single game week keeper? And if so, who would it be?
No.
Okay, great. Thanks for playing. No. Okay.
No, it's a bad idea.
Okay.
Colorado? I don't know. No.
Yeah, no, that's a perfectly acceptable answer. I just wanted to see if you had,
let me be very clear.
I'm not going Schulte because you don't bet against Portland.
Last week was a fluke. It was a fluke. It was a holiday weekend.
The singles. Yeah.
Yeah. That never happens ever.
Yeah. No, I'm with you for sure.
Okay, so the rest of my defense.
It's just something
Oh,
sure.
Sorry. Go ahead.
to answer your question, Aiden, it's because without Gressel, look how bad their defense has been. Without Gressel, Vancouver's been
Ahmed
scoring
out
on
too.
I think 2 or 3 goals each time.
Yeah.
Ahmed should be
Except
back though.
except
Yes, Ahmed
Gressel.
should be back.
Yeah, Ahmed should be back, and there's a couple other people that are playing for
Yeah, so they
Canada.
allowed 3, and then last week it was what? They allowed 3 to the Sounders. So 2 weeks in a row they
Mhm.
allowed 3 without Gressel.
Yeah.
Week before that they had allowed 2, and then so
I'm
2,
not so
3, and
sure
3
Gressel has a
without
lot to
Gressel.
do with their ability to keep a clean sheet, though.
Sure, but that's the main key that's missing for them right now. So
Yeah,
that's why I
in a,
say
in a
no
possible.
Takaoka.
I
Defense
think
wise, go ahead, Ashley.
No, you go ahead.
I'm thinking Barrial for sure. Now that he's off
Mhm.
yellow card watch, you have to have him.
Mhm.
I want Lovitz because he's on
Good Savannah.
corners against Joe Bendick.
Mhm.
I can see the shame
Yeah.
in Christian's face.
No, I mean, if you've watched 10 minutes of Joe Bendick recently, I'm betting against him too.
Have you watched 10 minutes
Yeah.
of Nashville recently?
I hear that.
No.
I do. It's much less painful than Bendick for me, but
Yeah,
it's
that's
not
a good
great.
point.
Yeah.
Good
And
point.
then I have
Yeah.
Brooks Lennon because he just shows up on doubles. It's weird. He
Mhm.
just will randomly have a good week on doubles.
Mhm.
And I
You
also
just
have
jinxed
Yammer as
it.
my fallback.
You just jinxed
Yeah,
Lennon,
Yeah,
that's
dude.
the
yeah.
point.
Why?
That's the point.
Oh, so you're going to
That's the
go
point.
differential on instead of Lennon. All right. I hear
No.
you. No? You're going to
I
keep him?
get the idea of she hosts, and I might take him, especially knowing he's probably on set or on PKs.
Yeah.
But can you really trust Chicago defense? Maybe.
Chicago always
I mean,
makes me nervous from a
they've been
fantasy
like a
perspective.
surprise lately. Like they're not
Well, it's because they
terrible.
fired their coach, right? Like it's that
Yeah.
post-coach swinger slump, right? And they're swinging.
Yeah. So they're not terrible, and I get the idea with his bonus points too. So he might
Yeah.
be a play that I do at some point. I just have to think
Sure.
about it a bit.
Yeah, I'll take that. All right, let's move on to some middies. This is a pretty chalky group. I feel like midfielders have been relatively chalky most rounds, but I'll go ahead and have Christian start us off. Christian, midfielders, who do you like?
I've got Almada. I really don't
Mhm.
like Atlanta. They have more often not done well than done well for me. But whatever. I'm going to have Almada. Carlos
Yeah.
Eel is a must-have, I think.
Absolutely. Double home?
Yep, I'm taking Pablo Ruiz as well. I'm a big believer in RSL now. They were terrible to begin the season. Well, they were pretty good to begin the season, and then they just
Yeah.
dropped right off. Like I don't understand what happened, but
But a lot of this from them, yeah.
yeah. So hopefully this isn't the week they
Mhm.
go back. Yeah, no. Pablo Ruiz, and I'm thinking Driussi only because I saw up close and personal his dismantling of my side last week.
Sure.
He seems to be back, and more importantly, Fagundes seems to be back, and those two together are pretty effective. The only reason I would hesitate for Driussi would probably be because he's not on set pieces.
Yeah.
I don't usually pick midfielders that aren't on set pieces, but at this point, I mean, last week I picked all midfielders on set pieces, and look what happened. So whatever. And last but not least, I think if you don't have Gald this week, I think you're probably going to be punished for it. The only hesitation there, obviously, is Gold is not great on doubles. Like he is usually rested
He's also
on one of the games.
Yeah, he's not a guaranteed
Mhm.
double start.
Mhm.
Yeah. So it's risky. You would think, well, I don't know. Vanny is a little bit weird in his logic for
I think it
picking a
depends
starting
on
11.
if the US get knocked out and Gressel comes back, then I think Gald could get rotated. Otherwise, I
Oh,
think
yeah.
he stays.
Yeah, he's
Yeah, that's
definitely
a good
one
point.
that I'm worried for the Saturday, right? Like I'm worried for what it looks like. But again, he's double home. It's hard to pass up, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Um,
and he could also very easily haul a 20-pointer in one of those games. I
sure,
mean, let's
sure.
be honest.
Uh,
He won't,
I'm
but he could.
yeah, I overlap with Christian a lot. I'm less hesitant about Almada. I like Almada this week. I also have Heel and Gald. I have Acosta for Cincy is someone that I'm looking at. Um, I like the Drury shout. It definitely made me kind of consider. But I think I like the matchup for Lucho better, which is why I went with him first. And then I can't believe I'm the one saying this, but Reynoso. Um, those matchups are pretty decent in my opinion. I guess Houston's going to be getting some people back, but LAFC is so tired and rotated and just like not performing consistently, and that's the home match for Minnesota. Um, I've been kind of down on him in general since he's come back into the league, much to Christian's dismay. But 9 points without a goal contribution last week makes me really struggle to find a reason to not pick him up
Two,
for a double
two,
this week.
two games
Maybe
in a row.
fitness,
He
I
did
don't
that.
know, is yeah, exactly. So, I'm assuming he's back to full fitness. I'm assuming he's not going to get
Mhm.
rotated. I
Yeah,
definitely think he's going to get some more Pookie with him this week, which I like for him a lot. So he's one that has made his way into my lineup right now. And then it wasn't in Reed's notes. Christian didn't say him, and technically neither am I. But Hani Mukhtar, we're not. I mean, is that is that the first man out, last man in type of a situation for this
he
week? I mean,
just got.
Nashville's on a
I don't know if this is true or not, but there's a rumor that he just got a big offer from
from
from Qatar.
Yeah, it is a confirmed
yeah,
rumor, but I highly doubt he gets sold in summer.
4 days.
But
He's all they have. Yeah, I mean, it would be a pretty interesting shakeup. I mean,
Uh,
they're home against Philly,
we've seen
who's
teams do
leaking
that.
goals.
We've
He's
seen.
home against
Um,
Philly, who's leaking goals and has Bendick between the posts. And then they go to FC Cincy, who is definitely doing better, but oh sorry, Tyler. I just I don't know. I think that he's I'm overlooking him this week, and I feel like uh he's definitely someone that we should consider in that midfield. So, Tyler, what about you?
yeah, first person on my team was Hani Mukhtar.
Yeah, perfect.
um, let me give you guys some stats really quick. Home games going back for Haney. Keep in mind Joe Bendick's in that. But home games going
Exactly.
back 7, 18, 14, 7, 21, 11, 9, 5, 4, 8, 5. This guy will score at home.
Hmm.
And against Joe Bendick, he'll probably score more than one. He might have another 21 week or whatever that was, where he was like MVP a second time. I think you have to
is
have
that
him
the
on your
first
team
or
this week.
second game for
It's the first
Philly?
game.
For Philly,
First, the
so
Wednesday game. Yeah.
they're gonna have Jose Martinez, who
Yes.
in fact it
Yeah.
will be getting a yellow card in that game and will not be available on the weekend. I am going to put money
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
on.
What's your point?
I would agree. I would agree with you if this was the second game and there was no Jose Martinez. Um,
It's still Joe Bendick though.
dude, like
Yeah. Well, Philly is just they're leaking though. I mean, I don't.
they may be,
It's
but
at home. It's Honey at home.
all right. I mean, like
I'm
he's
here for
not a
that
terrible
pick,
pick.
Tyler.
He's not a
I
terrible
yeah, I
pick.
I'm
think
I just think there are better.
Haney is a home game guy.
yep.
When
Yeah.
he's on the road, you don't really want him. But when he's at home, you definitely want him on your team.
Well,
And
I took
then
him on my team last time he was home, and he got a 4 or a 5. So
his lowest home score is a 5. So
then it was a 5 that I got, and it was very recent. So
his
yeah,
most recent five.
I'm just kind of burned by it. They don't have anybody in
Oh,
attack that supports him very well. Like it just,
Well,
you know,
Schaffelberg's gone too, and he's really been
yeah.
helping
And
out, right?
you got who's their DMs? I mean, you've
Schaffel will
got
be back though.
Dax.
You're right.
What?
He will be back. Thank you. He
Schaffelberg
said
will be back.
Schaffelberg will be back.
Oh, anyway, like I don't know. I watch Nashville, and there's this giant gap in the midfield that nobody is occupying. You know, it's dismaying to me how Hani Mukhtar has to go all the way back, get the ball, and come all the way. Like we make fun of teams for having to do that usually, and if it wasn't Hani Mukhtar, I think we'd probably not be making, or we'd probably be making fun of him. But
Do
I
you
don't
want me to
know.
say Randall Leal instead?
Well,
I don't. I don't want that.
I'll just say
Randall
this.
Leal is selfish. Okay, like he is just selfish. He always has been, and even though he hauled the last week, he's not going to do that again. He's not going to replicate that, guaranteed.
Yeah. Who else you
Um,
looking at, Tyler?
sorry.
I think Ryan Gauld, like Ashley said, you have to have him on your team this week, especially with how he's been playing. But he's also that rotation risk, so it's kind of nerve wracking.
Mm-hmm.
I also have Carlos Heel, freshly rested, double home
Mm-hmm.
game. You don't fade him.
Mm-mm.
I want Pablo Ruiz. I say this every time I'm looking at him, but I feel like either Lucho or Almada is a better play. I currently have Ruiz on my team and don't have either of Thiago or Lucho on my team, but I don't think that's the right play. And
I don't think
then
Lucho is the right play.
I'm hesitant on both. I've never had good luck with Lucho, which is why I don't want him. But then of course Reynoso. He's been lighting up the league since he's come back. So I think you have to pick him up. And I don't know. What do you think, Christian? Will he actually play both?
He
Start
will
both?
absolutely play both, and he will get like a 6 both games, and because we all expect him to get
Sure.
15 pointers. And
And if Hector wasn't, go ahead.
well, he's going up against Houston's defense in Houston,
Mm-hmm.
which has been stout.
Yes.
And
Sure.
I don't know if you guys caught the Minnesota game, this last game against Austin,
I
but
often don't.
it was incredibly frustrating. We created like maybe 30
Did you win
chances.
4-1?
He lost 4-1.
We lost
Yeah.
4-1
Lost 4-1. So
at
sorry.
home.
My apologies.
And
It's
Reynoso
insensitive
had
of
a
me.
9 without a goal or an assist. Like this guy
Yeah.
should have probably had close to 20 points.
Yeah.
Should have, but we have nobody that look. Heath isn't going to start these new guys. Like he's not going to start Pookie because he's Adrian Heath. All right, he's not going to start
Yeah.
Tajuri Shradi because he's Adrian Heath, because he's got to do it
Okay.
his way. And like he's bleeding games. He's bleeding points. We were in 5th, and now we're down at like 11th because of this guy. So I'm just saying, I'm frustrated. I don't believe in the team yet. I'm very excited to have our new players come in, but I'm not taking them for fantasy yet. Yeah, Reynoso
Okay.
is quality. We all know it, but I have a feeling that he's going to blank this week. That's why I don't have him. Acosta, how many times do we have to say don't take an attacking mid against New York Red Bulls before people
Sure.
understand?
Well,
Like,
you say it a lot.
you're picking Acosta. He's literally on a single game week this week because he's gonna get a 2 against the Red Bulls. So that's why I'm against that pick. And Reynoso, baby,
And
I wish I could believe in you right now.
yeah.
I really do.
And
Breaks my
then
heart.
I would go Hector Herrera if he wasn't on yellow card watch. I think he's a good shout for a floor mid that's also on sets. Like a floor with
Yeah,
a high ceiling.
he could have a seriously good game against us.
But on sets, I don't trust it. Or on yellow card watch, sorry.
Yeah, he'll probably get carded. Do we know who the ref is in that game?
Give me 2 seconds.
1, 2,
Almost there.
2.5, 2 3/4, 2
Almost
7/8.
Oh, it's not posted yet.
Oh,
Nice.
well, I think I think that really does depend on the ref. I mean,
Yeah.
so,
Okay. Shall we slide into forwards? Do you have any more midfield you'd like to talk about?
I'm good.
Okay. Strikers. Christian, who do you like?
I've got Bo, Polito, and Buanga. I am on the fence between Polito and Chicho Arango, to be honest. I think Polito's fixtures might be better, but I really haven't had time to really dig into it. So I'll probably end up with Chicho because he's sexier. Don't let Cam hear me
That's
say that.
fucking right. He is. I mean, you guys know, you know how I feel about him.
Yeah.
As soon as I saw he was coming back to RSL, I would have picked him up last week if I could have, just
Did
to do it.
you swoon? Come on, be honest.
Always,
Okay.
no.
Okay, hold up.
Uh,
Hold up.
what?
I forgot
Hold
to
on.
mention that Shaqiri has double home games. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, irrelevant. I
Totally.
also like Polito. I think I like Bawanga, and then yeah, I mean full Chicho for me, 100%. I'd still pick up. You know, I tried to pick him up once he left the league, so I still miss Tati, so I just can't let it go. So to be clear, I will probably have him as a bench play. Um, I'm also going Chicho over Bo just because of minutes. Since Bo's come back, I just kind of worry that with the other players that they have with Bobby Wood and stuff like that, I just worry he'll get rotated or come in as a sub. His first 90-minute game was the last game. It's the first game, second 90-minute game he's played since coming back from injury. So I like New England. I like the matchup. I like Gustavo Bo, but he would have been my bench striker anyways. So I have to do Chicho because I love him. So, and I think to be clear, I also like their matchups, but um, I'm interested to see how he fits in with this team because his goal wasn't anything like crazy special
Oh, was it?
this past weekend. But I mean, it was just like a regular goal for him. It wasn't, but um, anyways,
I didn't see it.
I can't not pick him up. I'm refreshing the system constantly to see when I can add him to my team. So, Tyler, what about you?
Yeah, I have Polito. I do not have Bo because I'm worried about his minutes. I think he starts the first game and then he's maybe a sub in the second game. So I think he maybe is like a 120, 130-ish. And that's the only reason I don't want him.
That's a good point.
I'm gonna go against the grain here. Instead of Chicho, I put Savarino in my team
How did I
because
know
he's
you were
on
going to say
set.
that?
Because he's splitting sets with Ruiz, and I mean he's on my draft team, so I have to have him, right?
Yeah.
I thought he still is splitting, isn't he?
I haven't watched
Um,
her, so
I
I
I
didn't
can't in
think.
know
my
I know
head.
Ruiz has taken a lot, but I think he's still
Mhm.
doing in swingers, and Ruiz is lefty, Stava is righty. But my differential for this week, if anyone wants to kind of note down before it gets
I do.
released, Bongo Kukle Hlongwane.
There you go.
I think he's like one of the few forwards that actually has somewhat of a floor. Like
Okay.
he gets close to bonus points, even if he doesn't hit them, he's getting really close to a few different bonus points. I think he's a good pairing with Reynoso and with Pookie coming in. There's a chance that he could get more assists going forward. So he's probably going to be in my article. He won't be on my team this week, but he'll probably be in my article.
Yeah, I think there's a couple other names we didn't say that are worth considering. I think Carranza is
Carranza,
worth
yeah.
considering. I'm not super hot on Philly right now in general, but I definitely think that that's worth considering. I think Bossy is another name that's not, way out of left field. If you like Bawanga, I think you could also like Vela. I think Bobby Wood honestly probably has a better chance at starting both. You don't think so? Is he hurt?
You don't want Carlos Vela. That's all I'm gonna say.
Oh, okay. I thought you were shaking your head to me at Bobby Wood. I was like, I think he's healthy and he's been playing. But yeah, I think once you kind of get away from that, I think everything else is a little out there. I would not go Raul Ruiz. I honestly wouldn't even be surprised if he doesn't start both. If Jordan Morris comes home anytime soon. And then there's just not another too many other names that stick out. I don't trust Brian White. Although he tends to, as soon as you turn your back on him, produce. But as far as strikers go, Gigi also one that always has kind of made me nervous. Either shows up or doesn't at all. So Herbers, Chicago. I don't know. I feel like I just
I was
have to
gonna
say
say
something about Chicago.
I wanted to say that's my shout to Samurai Panda is
Okay.
Herbers.
Sure.
Will he continue his streak or not?
I mean, hard to say, but he won't be on my team.
He will.
Herbers is
Let's
no,
not for you. Okay.
not for me.
Let's go ahead and wrap it up with some armband picks. For me, it's heel this week. Christian.
It's a toss up, heel or Gald, but if Gald
Okay.
isn't going to play too, I'm not going to cap him.
Sure. Tyler.
I'm between Reynoso and Haney Mukhtar.
I love this. This is
I
why
don't
we
know
let you
which
stay.
one. I don't know which one right now. It's on Reynoso, but I'm
Okay.
kind of wanting Mukhtar. I don't think I will. I think I'll keep it on Ray.
Okay. Yeah. I like that. I like that a lot. Okay. So that just about does it for us for round 21. I know I've said it 14 times. I'll say it for a 15th. This is our last round before MLS takes a lengthy break. And they return on, I'll talk slowly so I can say it, August 20th.
August 20th.
Yep, August 20th. So, like I said, lengthy break for a couple different tournaments. And when we return from that break, it will be the era of Mr. Messi. So, something to look forward to get you through the long few weeks without MLS. Like I said, we will be back next week. Maybe here? I don't know. It's up to Reed. He's the boss, the MLS fantasy boss. With a recap of round 21, and then we'll have some content to throw out during the break as well, just about players coming into the league, something like that. Reed's probably going to try to talk me into doing something about Star Wars. I will decline. But we will still be putting out an episode or two during the break. So before we get out of here, plugs for this week. Christian, you got anything?
Yep, as always, the Discord community is top notch.
Tyler?
That's it.
No plugs.
Okay.
What?
I'm gonna
You can re-plug just because I said it doesn't mean you don't.
yeah.
Oh, okay. Plug to the Discord community. I guess I can say. I guess I could make this an official announcement that I'll be a teacher next year, 3rd grade position. I got accepted.
That a guy. Proud of you. Plug that. Awesome,
That's a
Tyler.
good plug.
That's
That's a good
awesome.
plug.
Good for you. That's my favorite plug so far. I just want to give a shout out. I guess it's not really a plug to Christian for helping make this happen. Anyone who was around last time Reed was gone knows that it was an absolute nightmare for me. And poor Patrick had to suffer through me trying to figure out all of this technical stuff that every week I get to just show up here, talk out of my pretty face, and Reed does all the work. So I really appreciate him all the time. I especially appreciate him when he's gone. So thank you, Christian, for coming up with putting this on here. And, hopefully we can do something similar going forward. So that's all for us at MLSFI for this week. And as always, good luck.